All right, guys. Appreciate y'all being with us. Hope you enjoyed Mello and Jarkel. Both those guys are doing really, really well for us. Jarkel, I know you could see how anxious he is just to start playing, and he's been very good in practice. Romello is really starting to get himself into shape, like a lot of new guys, starting to really figure out offense, starting to get a little more comfortable offensively. Has developed into one of our very best defensive players, but both of them have just been really, really fun to coach.
Questions for Coach? Start us off, Ben.
Yeah, Kermit, Jarkel and Devontae, their games kind of mirror each other. I was just curious how they've been developing that rapport over the course of the year, and now that they're on the floor together, how that's played out.
Yeah, what we've done, Ben, really about 90% of the time is just pit them against each other every single day. I think it's made them much better. And, it's just two very competitive guys going at each other. We do a lot of competitive win-loss, 4-on-4 games, 5-on-5 games. And then at times, usually about one time during practice, we started to put them both on the same team, and obviously they're going to play together some for sure this year. And just to kind of the dynamics of those guys playing different spots. And but it's been really good. I just know one thing, both of them have made each other a lot better.
Go ahead, Neil.
Hey, Kermit, there seems to be some just almost pessimism out there about non-league games being able to get played, especially early. I just was wondering if your schedule has been impacted yet or where that stood.
Yeah, Neil, I never really understood, maybe he's talked about here, how people said they were going to have a bubble. Everybody, the bubble was the catchword. And when you start those tournaments, and nothing against ESPN, all those guys, they're the best of the best, but just trying to get them in there and the expense of the testing. And then I think there's some issues about quarantine when you left, and I think that's what kind of blew the whole thing up. We have not been affected at all. We just had about an hour and a half head coaches meeting, Zoom with the SEC and the commissioner. And, I think we're just right on schedule as far as non-conference. I think everybody's trying to figure out, obviously, capacity and all the protocols for that. But right now we haven't been affected at all, and we haven't got our schedule out officially. We talked about our MTE that we're going to have, but we're right on schedule for right now.
Do you still feel like you guys can have that?
I do. I do, Neil. That's something out of the ordinary happens. We've gotten contracts back, and the three teams are looking forward to coming. And I think we'll definitely be playing here that 25th, 26th, and 27th.
Go to Parrish.
Kermit, how are your COVID numbers? Are they still pretty good, or are y'all dealing with that a little bit?
Yeah, we had a staff member test today. Kind of not at liberty to really talk about who, and I know you guys have been through that. And I've had a couple managers. But they're back and they're coming back, and so. But really, our players have done a great job, and really our numbers have been really, really good. Parrish.
You touched on Sammy Hunter a little bit the last time we were all together. Has he continued to develop there? What are you seeing with him?
He is. I think he's a really, really good shooter. Sometimes Sammy's misses affect his next shot. Talked a lot to him just next play, next shot. But he's done really well in practice. Been encouraged with Sammy. Again, like a lot of our guys, he's such a pleasure to coach. We just on him all the time about rebounding the ball better, being more physical, getting his athleticism right in the rebounding game, and that'll be a big key for him, as his minutes increase for our team.
Romello talked to us about this being a good rebounding team, 1 through 5. Do you see more energy from others, maybe due in part perhaps to his presence?
Yep, I sure do. I tell you who's been really rebounding the ball well since official practice is Demencio Vaughn. And I think we keep all the rebounding stats. I think he's either first. KJ's first. I think Demencio's second. I think Romello's around third right now. Hadim is right there. But, Jarkel is a really good rebounding point guard. Obviously, Devontae has been a really good rebounding guard his whole career. Luis Rodriguez, Austin Crowley's a much improved rebounding team. And I just think in this league, that is so important. And but I do. I think, knock on wood, that's been one of the biggest improvements that I see, offensive rebounding and defensive rebounding.
Go ahead, Nick.
Kind of an off-the-court question, but are y'all taking off practice Tuesday or doing anything special for Election Day? I know the SEC said something about having that option.
Yeah, our guys are 100% registered to vote. Nick, I wasn't really a big proponent of taking the day off, personally. I just think that our guys are mature enough that obviously some of them are absentee voting, some of them have done different things. I just think that college guys, if they've registered to vote, are mature enough to go to the polls like working people are, and you have to squeeze it in your day. But we definitely are taking the day off like everybody else is. But I'm really proud of our guys. They're looking forward to the process. Some have done the process and looking forward to Tuesday to casting their vote.
With everything that's kind of happened this offseason, both in Mississippi and just sports in general, have you seen your players acting differently and engaging differently with those kind of discussions than maybe they have in the past?
It's the most discussions we've ever had about it, Nick, which I think that's been healthy for all of us, me included. And I think it's been healthy for our players. But haven't seen them act at all differently. We just got a really good group of guys that go about their business. I think everybody is always aware of what's going on, and especially with the social media. But I think the discussions that we've had with our leadership group and our team has been really good. And like I said, not only for the players, but for myself and the staff.
Go ahead, Courtney.
Kermit, after maybe having a couple extra more months than you normally would have to reflect on last season, kind of what was your personal biggest takeaway from the way y'all did things last year, and then how are you using that to improve your team going into this year?
Yeah, I enjoyed our team. Obviously I just don't think we played up to our capabilities. Different players, different things happen. I'm responsible for every guy that was there, that we weren't as tough and physical. You guys heard me say that. The biggest disappointment for me was that the number of SEC games that we lost, that we were up in the second half with great chances to win. Good teams close games out where it was a physical stop or a physical rebound or executing offensively. And like I said, I'll always take, the credit for that and the blame for that. But I just think that our team, we've talked a lot about finishing possessions, number of stops in a row, toughness, depth, all the different things. Because we can go to probably maybe 7 SEC games. And if you win 4 or 5 of those, you know what, you're an NCAA tournament team again. And so that's just how the fine line is in our league. That's something we've got to improve on this year.
And then Kermit, a bit of an off-the-court question for you. You're very vocal about your family's experience with Down syndrome and it being the tail end of Down Syndrome Awareness Month. For you, sharing your family's stories, what's the biggest thing that you want people to take away from you and your family being so public about your experiences?
Yeah, I think that, one of your hardest days in your life was when your child is born with a special needs, like with Allie, with Down syndrome. So I understand that part of it. But then the happiest days of your life are what's to follow, and we wouldn't change a thing. So I'm public about it because Betty and I feel very comfortable with it. Allie feels very comfortable with it. But we want families, and we do have kind of a spotlight that we can share things that, to watch a 33-year-old daughter like Allie, should be 33 in December, and the possibilities. Because the biggest thing about when you have a child that's born with special needs, you worry about that day. But you know what? You worry about what are they going to be in, what about first grade? How are they going to adjust to middle school? What about the dating part? I mean, all the things run through your mind as a parent. And, and for Allie, to become the lady that she's become and how well she's been accepted in all the communities, Oxford, and the different things that she's involved with and how she speaks and her intelligence level, the whole thing, social. We hope that encourages other families. Because I know one thing, we were sure encouraged as a young couple, and that was our first child that was born. by stories and people that we talked to. It gave us great hope, to watch other Downs children as they were older than Allie and kind of just the possibilities. And I'll say the last thing, sometimes when you have a special needs child and Downs, people around will try to shape their world too small, and just to understand that there's huge possibilities, and the potential level for Downs children, it varies, but it's great. And that's just what we sure hope to do it. We have fun doing it, but every time we do it, it's obviously Allie enjoys it, but it is. It's just trying to get some kind of word out for special needs families and their daughters and sons that there's some great possibilities for children born with Downs.
Thank you. I loved her costume, by the way. That was great.
Yeah, I did. They sent me the picture. They were in Arkansas, and they bought it, I think, at maybe a Target store there in Arkansas. So when I got it, that was the first. So I had to tweet it out. Allie was fired up.
Love it.
We'll go to Ben.
Well, I feel really stupid asking this question after that, but Matthew Morrell and Austin Crowley, Kermit, when you're talking about your primary ball handlers after Devontae and Jarkel, what have they shown and being interchangeable at the 1 and the 2? Just what have you seen from them?
Yep. Austin Crowley is one of our most improved players. His body's different. He's played a lot of point, and we love to play Ben, whoever can rebound it. Obviously initiates offense, unless you've called maybe some set plays that maybe normally the point guard. But I just think the best teams, are guys, multiple guys. Matthew Morrell has come light years of being able to play the point against hard pressure. He's made a ton of improvement. So I really do. I think we have 4 guys, Jarkel and Devontae, Austin, Matthew, all of them feel really comfortable at the 1. And then when you start playing 2 or 3 of those guys together like we will, that's just when your team is so much more versatile.